Okay, we have one guest, Lisa, right? Nobody
Hi,
else is a
everybody.
guest.
Morning,
Lisa,
everybody.
Good
Hi.
morning. And Lisa, remind me, who introduced us?
Paige
No.
Tomasas.
Oh, not Paige Tomasas. Her name is Faith.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been a long morning already. Faith Tomasas, sorry.
Right. Okay, great. Yes. I know one Paige, but I haven't been in touch with her in many, many years. So
Pages. I'm doing so much networking right now. I'm confusing names, which is not ideal, but it's okay. We're all friends here.
We're all friends here. So yeah, let's get started. We were going to have a presenter. She couldn't make it. Explain why. That's usually about 15 minutes. So this gives us a little more time. And we have, let's see, 3, 12, 14 of us. We could do 2.5 minutes or so. But for your benefit, Lisa, this is the Trusted Referral Network. We're a network of about 180 people now across the US, all marketing focused. There are a few what I would refer to as sponsors who do not provide a marketing service, but provide services to the marketing world. Mm-hmm. In fact, a lawyer who was supposed to speak today it would fall into that category. Hi, Nedra. We meet weekly, alternating between Tuesday evenings at 5 p.m. Eastern and Wednesday mornings at 11, so that people who might have a standing meeting can be a part of this, at least on alternate weeks. We, of course, also have the website, the directory website, where every member has a listing. And I am promising and working on a new version of that, so that the least you'll be able to do, in addition to what you can do today, is find members by their names if you are a member. And also that new system will enable me to actually charge dues, which will probably kick in 6 months after the 6-month trial, which I will restart for everybody. And those dues will, the plan is now, base membership will be $360 a year, so $30 a month. You could add on top of that by adding other listings, upping your listing, et cetera. It'll all be in there, but on the same order, right? For an extra listing, it's not going to be an extra $360. It'll be, depending on the level, $150, $120, $180. But that'll all be explained when it launches or before it launches. Yes, Rajiv noticed lots of brunettes and then some bald people like me. And Lynn, who is not a brunette at all. Maybe she was, I don't know. You would know that better than I would.
No,
okay.
I was blonde, so it's not too changed.
It hasn't changed all that much. Okay. Wonderful. So what we do is, it's an opportunity for people in the marketing world to meet each other, connect, so that they can see if there's opportunities to potentially collaborate, refer business, and learn from each other. We also do, in coordination with the serial marketers, a third Wednesday webinar. I was told by David, David Berkowitz, who leads the serial marketers, that we do have somebody lined up for a week from today, except he hasn't told me who. So as soon as I find out, I will let everybody know. At these meetings, we typically, go around the horn, introduce ourselves, explain how we specialize, what we do, where we can help people, and what we're looking for. So I'll give it 2.5 minutes. I'll get a timer going, and we'll do it in the order in which people showed up. So I will put that in the chat. And if your name is not in there, let me know, so I don't miss you. But it would be Mark, Rajiv, and Lee would start us off. Let me go to 2.5 minutes on my timer. And I will put it into speaker mode so that when the recording comes up, you will have the full screen. So Mark, you are up.
Oh, wow.
If everybody else would go on mute, that would be great.
I wonder if I need the full screen. Maybe I'll just create a visual. My name is Mark Herre, and I put in the chat, easy to remember and find me. It's go to trustref.net, search SEO, and you'll find me near the top. So I'm Mark Herre with SEO Game, a business I've owned for 6 years, since 1996 when I incorporated. And what I've been focusing on just lately in the last 14 years is really getting behind the scenes of digital marketing agency and SEO companies. And I described myself back then, 14 years ago, as a white label SEO partner for digital marketers. And I kind of love that. I changed that white label SEO partnership to a white label rank delivery service provider and fulfillment center, because I really do one thing really good, and that is I deliver rankings. I get them on the first page of Google. I make them pop. And doing that for an agency has its challenges, of course. The number one challenge that an agency has is, how do I get my most difficult clients on the first page of Google and use your services? Well, what I did then and 14 years ago in starting this white label agency is I started offering 30-day trials, because I didn't really find too many digital marketing agencies saying, well, I'm ready to hand over my book of business. Let's get going on all 40 of my websites. They usually start off with, hey, I have my own project. I want to get my own keywords for social proof and get a few more leads to be number 1 with SEO Houston or something like that. And so I figured that was human nature. People want to get their own stuff done as well as their clients. And they usually want to start out with their website. And so I generally do that. And everybody gets a 30-day trial and gets their keywords. And then they say, okay, we can trust you with another opportunity. And so I'm always looking for opportunities. I have a kick me approach to solve problems with agencies. It's a kick me approach, meaning you get to kick the tires before you try it out and see what's under the hood. And hey, if we become a good partnership, then I'm looking for trust, a relationship to because whenever you do cross promoting and behind the scenes for another digital marketer that's in the same space as you always have to talk shop. You have to build a relationship. So if you would like to chat with me more about this, I love the opportunity. I listed my stuff there. You can find me on LinkedIn, and that's about it.
Thank you. And Gary had a question for you. Do you work mostly with small businesses or large? And I think small is your focus, right?
I work on any website that deserves to be #1 on the first page of Google. So I do these, you know me, Michael, I give keyword audits and we find the best top keywords, and it could be a local, it could be a national, it could be e-commerce, it could be a startup.
So Gary tends to work with large companies, and he may be able to refer business, or maybe you guys can collaborate. So you should definitely connect with Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
And you can find him here, Gary Haymann. Okay, Rajiv, you're up.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, so hi, everyone. For those that don't know, my name is Rajiv. I work in reputation management. So reputation management, think of it as yin and yang, where the yin is helping clients be seen prominently. So specifically, we're helping clients achieve thought leader status on platforms that they care about, like LinkedIn or Medium or Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And the reason for that is not just vanity. It could be, but it's also to attract more qualified clients, so that you have the clients chasing you for a change. How about that? Okay, so that's why reputation management can help you. On the flip side, we're also rescuing clients from the unfortunate predicament of bad press, scandal, misinformation, and anything that you don't want your current clients or your future clients to be associated with your good name, the names of people close to you or your company. So we're essentially deleting, yes, you heard me, deleting. We're deleting all that misinformation from Google so that it does not confuse or confound any of your existing customers and maintains your good name. And we have a performance guarantee, which means if the outcome is not realized, you get a refund. So it's like very simple. My ask is for collaborating with people in marketing, PR, anyone that works in digital that has this kind of an ask. And also, if anyone knows sports or entertainment attorneys or sports agents, those would be great referrals as well, because they're typically trying to do a deal and all this junk is killing that deal, which means they don't get paid. So them realizing about someone like me who is like a real person, a real company you can actually touch and it's real, gives people a lot of confidence and reassurance. So, and since I'm helping them make money and make money faster, chances are they might be interested in that. So, yeah.
Thank you. Well put. Okay. Let's see. After Rajiv is Lee, then David, Libby, then Alan. Lee, you're up.
Are your marketing materials compelling? Do they really convert? You need someone to help make you remarkable and irresistible to your clients, customers, and prospects. Let's face it, swimming in a sea of millions of people that act, sound, think, and are alike makes it almost impossible to stand out. Maybe you've tried to do the writing or editing yourself, but you felt frustrated because the writing or editing took so much time and you got no profit from it. Or maybe you've worked with other writers or editors, but that left you feeling disenchanted and disillusioned because you felt like they didn't understand you. You felt like you wasted your time and your money and you're not sure if you want to try somebody new. And I get that. It's not easy to find a writer or editor who can understand and describe your thoughts, feelings, and passions. You want a true partner in the writing or editing process, one who quickly recognizes that what you do is significant and that the marketing copy is attention-grabbing, true to your vision and brand, and converts. That's what I do. I'm Lee Barnathan of LB Communications. My clients appreciate that they're being heard, understood, and validated, and they love that their story gets told their way in their voice. They get excited that the writing or editing attracts more attention than their competition. They love the financial rewards that come with writing or editing that converts, and they love the fact that they don't have to do that which they don't want to do. So if you feel gun shy because you can't find a writer or an editor who can, number one, understand what you have to say is valuable, who, number two, writes your marketing copy to reflect your passion, and three, earns you business, I can change your opinion of writers and editors and what they can do for you and your marketing, or your clients' marketing for that matter. Similarly, if you're fed up with your own marketing materials because they don't rise to the level you need them to, or again, if your clients are fed up with their own marketing materials because they don't rise to that level, I can provide a different style of writing or editing that will transform your copy or their copy. So when you're ready, let's start a new project together. Contact me. We can explore how I can be a benefit to you or your clients.
Cool. And Lee, any example, what areas do you tend to work in? What types of businesses? You're on mute.
I thought I was done. I tend to do a lot of website writing and speech writing, but you know, there's a lot of different types that I get involved in. But I do want to specify that whatever I do, I'm into doing it authentically, honestly, without any BS. I used to want to market myself as a no BS marketer, which is, while I don't use that term much anymore, it's still true. Want to be accurate, don't want to feel like you're being pitched to or sold to. Be able to honestly describe and depict who you are, what you stand for, and be able to back everything up. Because when you back everything up, because it's all true, it's a lot easier to trumpet it out in the world and be able to, you know, extol its virtues without worrying about how somebody, maybe what you told somebody, and maybe you have to remember what you lied about or stretch the truth about. Well, not with me. It's all true and it's got to be verified. And I will make sure that the work that I do by asking who, what, where, when, how, why questions, make sure that all the information is verifiable. So you got to make sure that you got to want to work with me if you want to have integrity.
Great. Would love to see like some of your links to some of your websites that you've written. You could put it in the chat or something. Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Lee. David, then Alan. I'm sorry. Yeah, David Libby, then Alan Winnikoff, then Gary.
Hey everybody, I'm David Libby with 2 Pins. I do public relations for B2B tech startups. That's really all you need to know. I think that's pretty clear. And I'll go ahead and put in my LinkedIn profile in the chat if you want to reach out to me or connect. For some reason, a lot of the B2B tech startups that I touch accelerate very quickly to their IPOs or to their acquisitions or to raising funding. And it's probably because I really focus on aligning their marketing with their business objectives. So if you have a client that is, what client isn't thinking about IPOing or getting acquired or, raising funding or something spectacular in the startup world, I, for some reason, help these companies get to those goals faster through public relations. So I'd love to help you too. So if you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, let me know and we'll have a separate conversation. Nice to see you all.
David, I had a conversation this morning with somebody that I met at a very cool startup in the marketing space that Series A, I'm not sure they're necessarily looking for an exit, but very cool technology.
They're all looking for exits. If they're not
Eventually,
planning, if they're not planning for their exit when they start, then they're not running a good business. They all have to have an exit strategy.
Yeah, I guess they probably have. They may be a little early. They're raising a Series B now.
They all have to have it in their plan. Every investor wants to know.
That's it. How do you turn this into cash?
Exactly.
Okay, Alan, then Gary.
All right. Hi, everybody. Nothing like a PR person following a PR person. I'm sure that's just what you guys want today. What we do is pretty different than what David does, it sounds like. So we are a boutique PR and social media firm. We do social for most of our clients, as well as kind of traditional PR, paid content. Our scope of services, of course, has broadened as the market landscape has changed. So it's interesting that people still want that sort of old school core PR. They still want those press hits in magazines and newspapers, even though nobody's reading newspapers and magazines. So, but as I said, by broadening our scope, we're able to be much more effective for our clients. Our type of clients we work with are primarily media and entertainment. That could be anything from apps to podcasts to TV shows to books. We work a lot in the children's space in those areas, but not exclusively. We also work with nonprofits. That's another big part of our business. And thirdly, we work with startups and entrepreneurs. That's actually a real passion of mine, working with entrepreneurs. And as a matter of fact, a lot of times when you work with a startup, obviously they don't really have a lot of infrastructure. We're working with a client right now who is, thanks to Michael's referral from Michael Bendit, they're in the healthcare industry, and they're launching an app for cardiac rehab. So one of the things I had to do for them was basically act like their ad hoc CMO and build a marketing team. One of the people I brought in is on this call. The world's greatest designer, Christina Hagopian, who's building their website. It's been, such a joy to work with her, in spite of some challenges. But so that is kind of what we do. In addition to PR, in addition to social media, we have a really great team of third-party partners who we can bring in and offer clients a much broader scope of marketing services. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here from you guys. I want to make sure that one of the reasons I'm here is to find people who we can add to our network. And I hope, that would reciprocate as well. So that's who we are, and looking forward to meeting all of you.
And I just want to say Alan has been a wonderful partner and a huge advocate, and I highly recommend reaching out to see if there could be some partnerships. Again, that came in that project has been a really solid project for me as well. And I'm appreciative of this network for the referral.
Well, it's
Great.
a love fest. Right back at you, Christina.
Thank
And
you.
so the challenges had nothing to do with Christina, I assume.
No.
No, don't let that get around.
No.
All right.
Hey,
Gary,
Alan,
then-
you have to include a PETA surcharge.
PETA, P-E-T-A.
No,
Yeah.
P-I-T.
Pain in the
Pain in the
ass.
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, that's
No,
comes with
it's
the
actually,
territory.
it's not the client that's difficult. It's, the startup environment where,
yeah.
they need so much yesterday and there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that still need to be made. So that's always a challenge with any startup.
Yeah, Peter, who's the CEO, is a good guy. He knows marketing, but he's
Yep.
under-resourced, I guess.
He's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Gary Haymann, you're up.
Thank you. It's really great to be back with the group. I see some faces that I've seen before and a lot of new ones, so that's really great. I always enjoy when I can attend these sessions. I have two businesses. The first is Edgy. Edgy is a enterprise SEO agency where we focus on Fortune 100 brands. And just a quick example of a project we're working on lately, we work with British Petroleum. British Petroleum, we've been working with the global division and now we're moving our way to the US group. They're really trying to get shared voice out there in the world on the advocacy topics that are important to them. So they're transforming from a oil and gas company to net neutral in 2023. And so we're taking on very specific targeted advocacy topics and then building them content clusters on the web to drive engagement, brand awareness, and kind of shared voice. And then inside that SEO agency, we had to build a lot of automation and intelligence to be able to keep up with the big brands over the last 6.5 years. We actually built our own artificial intelligence editor. So that's called Ink. Ink lets you write and rank in real time, and it's got an AI writing component that it can actually take your concepts, write the article for you, then move it to the web, score it, and then make sure when you publish it, you're going to drive engagement. And what we're really trying to coin with Ink is there's natural language processing, there's natural language generation, and the future is really natural language optimization. And so that's really where Ink is targeted. And what I thought would be really easy is I'll share my screen. I'll just show you a new sizzle reel for Ink. Tell me, can you guys see my screen?
By the way, we used Ink and I love it. And I was just talking to my writer about bringing that back open. Thumbs up on that.
Thank you. We're really fortunate. I mean, to date, we have about 500,000 users. We have about 60,000 active monthly users, and the metrics are kind of growing. We just did cap off kind of an initial seed round. It'd been funded privately for the last few years, but we just went for our first round of outside financing and got that lined up. So we're really excited about the opportunity in this space. This is really
Gary,
quick.
can I ask you to hold off because you're out of time? Maybe at the end we can do it.
Sure, no problem, definitely.
Yeah, we do have a full house today, which is
Okay.
great. And I did open up the share if anybody wants to do a share, but we are limited to 2.5 minutes unless we have time at the end. Lynn, then Henning, then Andrew.
Good morning, Lynn Donaldson from Connect A Strategic Solutions Group. We actually provide product launch enabling for life science industry specifically. We work with medical devices and pharmaceuticals, and we help them launch their products usually 4 to 5 years before launch. We work with medical affairs people and marketing teams, but not in the same company because of the firewalls. We have consultants who go in and work with the clients 1 to 2 days a week, and we help them develop their team with the right mindset and leadership, then build the strategy and then implement that strategy. And we have a 3P framework, which is people, product and process. And part of the process is that we've developed with Rajiv, we've developed a launch tool that we're putting out shortly, that we're going to launch shortly, which helps them with their product launch planning. So we'll go in and consult with them, and then we'll use this tool to help them with their planning as we go along. The type of clients we like to work with are mid-sized pharma, because they still believe in the patient and they still want to do what's good for the patient, and often they're under-resourced, or they are maybe have never done a product launch before. So typical companies are, they've maybe got 1 to 2 products and they're bringing a new product out that they've never gone into this particular area before, or it could be the immunotherapeutics that they've never touched before, and they're not sure how to do this. So we'll take them, we'll guide them, and we'll help them through developing that strategy to a successful launch. We've worked with Fortune 500 companies, but we've also worked with the smaller companies and the mid-sized companies. As I say, our sweet spot is mid-sized pharma, whereby they need extra resources, and we help them with providing an extra set of hands, but also that brain. One of our clients said to us, we give her brain a massage because we challenge. We'll challenge them because we put in marketing people into medical teams, and we'll challenge them. We'll think about the big picture and what they've got to achieve, and then we think ahead for them, as most consultants worth their salt do. We think ahead and help them think about what they've got to do next, and we give their brains a good old massage and make them think outside the box and think differently. Am I out of time, Michael?
3 seconds, so pretty much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bit of an echo, I'm not sure why. Yeah, Andrew Schulkind, you're not next. Oh, you are next. No, you're after Henning. But so Andrew and I worked together on a project via another agency for a big pharma company, maybe too big for you, but I don't know if that agency, Andrew, is still doing work with pharma, but maybe a potential intro. You would know better than I. Henning, then Andrew, then Lisa.
Thank you, Michael. Number of us here in this call work with startup companies and help them grow faster. If you Google how to grow your startup, there are several 100 million search results. There's a lot of advice from other founders, from investors, the stories about unicorns. There are tools and services out there that guarantee success, and there are a number of lists that provide the ultimate tips and steps on how to make a startup successful. If I look at it from my very personal angle as a startup founder myself, I would say there are 4 things. The product, it has to have a product market fit. It's the founder, has to work hard and smart. There's a team. And as a founder, you have to be a leader that people want to follow. Don't be the a-hole, and you want to hire people that are smarter than you. And 4th and last, sales, because revenue solves all problems in startups. So build a sales-centric organization to generate the revenue that makes you successful. And my business is involved in that 4th element. We provide fractional and interim sales leaders into startup companies. We have a roster of pre-vetted executives, currently 385 pre-vetted executives that are available for fractional or interim assignments to help startups grow, to write playbooks, develop processes, hire the right salespeople into an organization, and then lead those sales efforts all the way to a point where the startup is big enough to want to afford and need to afford a full-time VP of sales or a full-time CRO. And then they can go out and hire, and the interim executive moves on to the next gig. And Vendox is the matchmaker between those two, the executives and the startup companies. Thank you.
Good timing. So I picked up on we provide the A team, not the A-hole. Is that your new?
I'll have to take on that tagline. Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. We have had 2 more people join, so we're up to like 16. But I think we're on time. Henning, then Lisa, then Robert. I'm sorry, Henning, you just did. Andrew, then Lisa, then Robert.
Hey
Andrew
everyone,
Schulkind.
I'm Andrew Schulkind. My firm is Andigo. We build websites and do content marketing for B2B businesses in the $2 to $25 million range. As Michael just alluded to, we do have a couple of strategic alliances in pharma and financial services, where we're working with Fortune 500 companies as well, but that's sort of a sidebar a little bit. So really it's small B2B businesses, and we are helping them deal with the fact that their prospects are typically 2/3 of the way through their buying process before they're willing to talk to a salesperson. So content really matters, your website really matters, being out there, helping them learn what they need to know before they're ready to make a decision really matters. We partner with folks like a lot of you on the call for things like video production, SEO, and pay-per-click campaigns, social media management, and even some kinds of coding and design, depending on our workload or just how specialized the needs are of our client. We've worked with a couple of Michael's teams. We traditionally work on larger projects for these small businesses with budgets starting around $15,000 or $20,000. In terms of industry focus, we work with a lot of different industries, but we really love working with B Corps and other mission-driven businesses. So if you work with organizations like that, I'd love to talk to you about how we might be able to work together or refer projects to one another. Again, Andigo is the company, and I'm Andrew. Thanks.
There it is up on the left, Andigo. And what is that on your other shoulder? It's a painting, but what are those little, it looks like airplanes or cars or something.
It's just, I don't know. It looks like it's a study for a larger painting. It's a friend of mine that painted it.
All right, so I'm imagining things in there, but I guess that's what art is all about.
Exactly.
You apply your own filter to it. Okay. On we go. Lisa, then Robert Weiss, then Christina. Lisa is a guest, so Lisa,
I'm
welcome.
a guest, and I have a slightly different angle. I am not an entrepreneur, but Michael was kind enough to invite me to see what was going on. I was in charge of marketing communications at Nikon for almost 20 years, and I'm currently looking for my next role. At Nikon, I handled everything for earned, owned, and paid media. Their advertising, both creative development, branding, media planning. I launched and managed their social media, both from handling the community management and also paid. Worked with creators and influencers and very wonderful, amazing photojournalists and photographers, managed the agencies. I was lucky enough to have my hand in a lot of different things, and primarily focused on B2C, although we sold through the channel primarily. So I did some work with the channel and B2B. So I have a very diverse background. I'm looking for a company that appreciates that background and my experience, and I'm looking for a company, not necessarily a startup, but someone that has is still small enough to be creative and try new things, and do some really interesting marketing, but has the budget to be able to do what they need to do, and work with folks like you and agencies, because I really do believe that it's great to have the expertise in-house, but it's really hard to keep up to date with the latest and greatest. You need outside partners and agencies in order to stay current and be on the cutting edge. And that's where I am. So, I will put my LinkedIn information in the chat, and I know a lot of different agencies and colleagues that may be able, may want to work with you, and I can connect you with. So that's my spiel.
Lisa, are you looking is it preferably for you to be in-house or to be an outside consultant?
No, in-house. I would love to work in-house. I want to be able to really go deep with a company and be able to follow it through to see that I'm meeting the objectives. So really that's really ideally what I'd like to do.
Got it.
Great background. And Lisa promised that if somebody here gets her a job, she will bring business to the group. At least I'm putting those words in her mouth. Okay. Robert, Weiss, then Christina, then Raoul.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. So most of you know, but video. So I'm going to give a little bit of inspiration to all of you for doing your own video. And there's a slightly little promotional thing about our remote stuff, but that's kind of just comes with this screen share here. So, oh, shoot. Can I punt and change my system preferences and come back to this?
Sure.
All right.
All right. So let us bring up.
I have a new computer.
Oh, Christina, you're up.
Hello, everyone. I am Christina Hagopian. I own a graphic design and creative direction company that I'm celebrating my 20th year in business this September. So I'm going to be doing a ramp up to celebrate and highlight some of our best projects. What that means after 20 years is I like to think I'm better at selecting where we're really good at and saying no to the things that might not be the best fit. What I also really find that I love partnering with companies that want and believe in design as an asset, and where they feel there's value, and it's an investment versus an expense. I find that attitude is the most important metric for success. As soon as we start talking where branding is an expense, then it's not seen appropriately. Without a good brand, it's the foundation of your business. And I find that has been the best meter. And anytime I've ignored that little warning bell where that isn't understood or felt from the onset, then it's not a good partnership. Or shall I say, the people that believe that are the best partners. That's the more positive way to say it. We specialize also in email marketing, which is a strange little mix for branding. But when it comes to driving traffic to websites and converting, whether that is a sale for e-commerce or a donation for a nonprofit, that is an expertise of ours. For both crafting the messages, the strategy behind the sends, analyzing the metrics, HTML development for email. We've worked with some incredible brands as large as Pepsi and Burberry, and as small as a medical device company that actually is a multi-billion dollar business. So maybe it's not so small. But a wide range of businesses is more of the key. And I love partnering with marketers where I'm a piece of the puzzle to the marketing endeavor. And, we tag team for SEO, we tag team for copy. I'm always looking for team members to expand. Thanks, Michael.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Christina does amazing work. Okay, who did I say was next? Raoul, then Nedra.
Hey everyone. So I have a consultancy that helps businesses succeed online. I work with new companies or people that are underperforming. And the way I work is I usually strategize with the client, kind of do a competitive analysis of the market, and then build a roadmap from there. And in doing that, I have a couple of developers that work with me, but mostly I bring in subject experts like yourselves for that engagement. It's usually project-based with an ongoing retainer for future work. And I have a background in agency experience most of my life. And when we sold our last agency about 7 years ago, I started consulting. So I bring sort of the big agency mentality to the smaller or medium-sized client. Initially was working with luxury and high net worth individuals, but since COVID, got really all sorts of business from everywhere. So I'm working, there's no particular vertical anymore. I've worked with scrap metal people, insurance, yeah, all sorts of areas. So yeah, I'm pretty open to any business vertical. And as a, yeah, I often hire people like yourselves for these projects.
Cool. So you went from the Mercedes right to the junkyard where the Mercedes is.
Like it's been, it was amazing. I just started, you know, from word of mouth. Yeah, it was. I've learned a lot about different industries. I can tell you. I know a little bit about, nothing about what is it? I know a little bit about everything, but nothing about one thing.
There you go. Is that a virtual background?
Well, it's a real. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a real, oh, it's a real paint. It's a virtual background of real painting.
Yeah, my sister's an artist. So.
Oh, neat. Okay, let's move on. After Raoul, the Nedra, then Keith, then Jason, then we'll go back to, so Nedra, you're up.
Good morning. Yeah, my name is Nedra Rezinas. I'm here in Portland, Oregon. And my background actually has been in web design for the last many years, but in the last 2 years, especially with the pandemic, I saw the opportunity to switch over to more marketing strategy because most of my clients kept asking me for more than just the website. It was, you know, they kept talking about email marketing and different types of marketing that wanted to bring traffic to the website, but also just to get themselves out there. And so I want to share a story with you of one of the clients I've helped that really kind of captures what I do best. His name is Chris, and Chris is a consultant. I work with lots of coaches and consultants and professional services folks, and he does analytics, and he does an amazing job, and he works with wineries and all these different companies. But he had this website that was really embarrassing and just not doing the job. And so we sat down and went through the website, and I made a list of changes and ideas and suggestions that would help him really tell the story he's wanting to tell, and some case studies and just a lot of things that were missing. And in addition to some marketing advice, I love to help people figure out how to be active on LinkedIn as a marketing tool, and also really focusing on email marketing. And so Chris was open to getting his website redesigned instead of trying to, you know, patch it together. We've all been through those situations where you're just like, oh, patch it together. No, let's just redesign the whole thing. And so I actually helped Chris with the strategy we put together, hire a web designer to create the website. And that was really a fun process because, you know, being a web designer, I can help hire the right web designer to do the job and figure out what's the right path. And it was a great experience. And we found someone that built a website that now does tell the story that Chris's company needs to share, and he's able to land some really big clients and grow. And since then, I've actually helped him hire a virtual assistant. I've helped him hire an accountant. So I've really helped, you know, been an integral part of his business. So, you know, I serve as a marketing strategist coach, but I also can help people hire, and I'm a bit of a matchmaker and really enable that to happen as well. So just to kind of showcase that, you know, I can start with a website, but then it gets much bigger and it can really grow and help the client understand what's possible. Because I think what I see, a lot of my clients are struggling they're just so nervous to hire people like us, and they really struggle with that. So I'm there to make it easier. That went by fast. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, it does go by fast. And maybe you could share Chris's website so he can see your work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to learn what type of analytics he does. But let's move on. That was mentioned Keith, then Jason, and then we'll go back to Robert. Keith, you there?
I'm getting there. I thought I was the one after this. All right, let's see, share screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. I shifted over to the next screen. All right, so marketers love numbers. I'm a CMO. Started out with IBM. I've worked for Apple, worked for startups. And the one thing that I've learned is that how important it is to document your content strategy and get everybody on the same page. And so I've built a consulting, training and support company for content marketing. More and more video is taking over, video. This is a segue for Rob. But how you're doing it, how you're going to attract your audience, how you're competitive, and it really needs to be understood from top to bottom in your team. And I found that the best way to do that, if you're going to do content marketing, is to build a branded content hub. The first time I did one, I was drinking the HubSpot Kool-Aid, and I built a blog and was asked to testify to Congress about radiological security as a marketing guy. And I've subsequently built them for other companies. One was involved in an M&A transaction, and the acquiring company wanted to buy the property. So I started thinking about running your marketing department like a media company and really making your website go way beyond the who we are, what we do, buy my stuff, but really make it integral to your business. And that means even more of a content strategy. And then when you build the hub, you bring people to that. And the interesting thing is, some recent research I found showed that inbound marketing is the third most effective way to generate leads behind referrals and partners. So it really concentrates all of your other marketing when done well. And the key is to have a system behind your content marketing. So while you start with a business strategy, you go out into the marketplace and tell that story. You want to bring people back in and give everyone a consistent experience. And when you set up your marketing automation and your CRM correctly, you have a system by which you can now deliver by segment the various experiences that you want to create, because that's interfacing and interacting with your people. So it starts with research, and we do a lot of research on getting the time, and then we build a content strategy, and this is really sort of core. I've written a book on how to build content strategy. It's a 100-page long, who moved my cheese kind of book, and this is really the core of what we're trying to help our clients do. Is build their
content wizard. And thank you for the introduction to Anand. I spoke with him and his partner at Unscramble today.
I hope that works out, and I think he'd be great on the group.
Yeah. I mean, it's a product company, but I think Gary, that's the company that I think I was talking, that reminded me of you. They do work with large clients, although the product is not that expensive, actually. Okay, Jason Ciment, you're up. Jason, are you still with us?
Sorry, I was muted by accident. I like the idea of sharing screen, so I'm going to do the same thing by way of telling you what I do. So I have two identities, which Michael knows about. Identity one is Get Visible, is my marketing agency. We've been doing this since 2005, but I've been online since graduating law school in '96 and starting my first business. And people used to come and say, hey, can you help me with this? And it took me a while to figure out I should open up an agency. So since 2005, we've been building websites, doing search engines. So this is an example of a law firm website we just redid for branding. So we have the chops to do design, even though that's a small part of our business. The main thing that we're doing is search engine rankings and all the corollary things like the pay-per-click advertising and social media. So I just wanted to focus on one company called Gold Star because it connects to my second identity, which is we own our own web platform that's really geared for e-commerce, but does a lot more. And so it's running this website, Gold Star, which sells sewing machines. Just to give you an idea of what we've done for them in the last 3 years, that's where he was. And then we took over about 3 years ago, and his traffic, and you could just see it's beautiful. I mean, if you look at his first page rankings on Ahrefs, we can even go to page 2 just for #1 ranking, not even first page. See, he's all over the place for sewing machines and all the related stuff. So the platform that we own, which is what I think is most important to this group because there's enough of us that are agencies, is called Adricom. And it's a fully integrated platform. Again, not just for e-commerce, but it has an API, what we call the API Foundry, which enables us to talk to Salesforce and Amazon and eBay and all these other systems that you can see down here, plus more. So there's no plugins. There's no integrated third-party tools. Everything works either stuff that we've built internally because we've put millions of dollars into the platform, or we're using APIs to talk to third parties, like for taxes and things like that. So if you come across a project that more than like a simple Shopify website or a WooCommerce type of thing, this is, I'd like to present as an alternative to you because it's got a lot of stuff under the hood that makes it more compelling than Shopify or Magento. And even Michael and I are talking about potentially a very large project on that basis. So that's my story. And I'm based in LA. We have, I think, 15 people right now working for us now because of COVID spread all over the country. But it all started in Phoenix and people started moving and we kept them. So we're sort of virtualized, even though we pay a lot of rent in Phoenix. That's it.
Thank you, Jason. And yes, I am working with Lev, who is the CEO of Agricom right now, on pitching a project.
Yeah.
To an online jewelry retailer and manufacturer, I guess vertically integrated. Okay. I guess, Robert, go back to you. Are you ready, Robert?
Yep, I'm ready. All right. So, so I was actually going to show one thing, but based upon like a little chat here with Jason, I think I'm going to show another, and that is, again, more empowering everybody about video and, you know, what makes up the cost of video, because that's a really big question mark that people don't understand. So, all right, so I'm going to show this.
How much does an average video cost? It doesn't go by time. Now, a very simple video, only 30 seconds, well, a 30-second TV commercial could cost a lot of money. But a 30-second business video, well, is that actually going to achieve the purpose of that particular video? Probably needs to be a little bit longer. So when you're talking with your professional video production company, focus more on the business objectives. And if you come to them with a budget in mind, that's going to help them make the most out of your budget. There's so many different variables that can go into making a video a $500 video, a $5,000 video, or a $50,000 video. They can all be 30 seconds long or a minute long, but the level of investment that goes into that is very, very different. When making an investment in business video content, be open with your video production company. Let them know the parameters that you're working with and challenge them to come back to you with a couple different options. This will help you make the best decisions for your brand, which might be different than another brand making those same decisions.
All right, so that was kind of just what I was thinking in my conversation with Jason. And this next thing is actually what I wanted to present to all of you to inspire all of you to get in front of the camera, because we're all marketers. We all need to push our business forward. So I'm going to share again. And
are you not doing video because you're afraid you're going to fuck it up? Get over it. Everybody can do video. They need a plan. They need some coaching, and they need sometimes a production company to execute it, but everybody can be doing video. And the reason is because we all show up in person to do our jobs. Now, traditionally during non-COVID, that has been in person, and now it's mostly during Zoom calls. We are all showing our faces. We are all informing and educating. So if you think about how you show up in that process and how that relates to you being in front of the camera, you're really in front of the camera all the time. So if you're...
So I won't show you the rest of the video because of time, but hopefully that inspires you to get in front of the camera and just be yourself.
That should be a TV commercial, except you'll have to bleep the third word. Thank you. I will do my own little pitch. I didn't miss anybody, did I? Speak now or forever hold your peace, at least for this week. Okay, so I'll do my quick pitch. I'll run over just a little bit. I'm Michael Bendit. I founded this network because I do a lot of work in the marketing space, and I also partner a lot with other marketing companies. My core business, Software Development Resources, is a sales rep firm. So I represent about a dozen companies. I used to say 10, but it's closer to a dozen. And they're all boutique software development firms. So one of the companies is Adricom, which is has a unique approach to building e-commerce sites. They've got their own platform, which makes them ideal. And they bring not only a platform, but the team. So it makes them ideal for really complex systems for which there isn't a huge budget. This opportunity that we were discussing or briefly referring to is probably about $100,000 job, but there's a lot of customized work to it. If it were on a different platform, it would probably be over $250,000. And then we do jobs that go down to $1,000 or even $500. The reason we do those is because if they're brought to us by an agency that we can partner with down the road, sometimes we want to start small. And we also continue to do those small jobs because we want to maintain the relationship. So we build websites, we build mobile applications, we build e-commerce sites, and then we also do some specialized things like 3D rendering, big data, blockchain. So refer to me or consider me sort of your software resource. That's why it's called Software Development Resources. I don't just have a hammer in the toolkit. With these 12 teams, we have a very broad range of capabilities. And my job is to make sure I match the capabilities or the need to the capabilities and vice versa. I need to solve for both sides of the equation, not just the client who's spending money, but my client who's actually delivering the services. It's got to be the right team. I just had a conversation. I started with one team, and they may continue to work with this client who's got a Shopify site and some real technical needs. But they are domestic teams, so they may end up being outside of their budget. So I have an alternative for them if they so choose to use a dual shore team, which is US based, but has most of their resources offshore. That's my time. Thank you so much. There's been some activity on the chat. So if you want to download that would be a good time. If you go to open chat, and then you click the first thing under the 3-dot menu, that's Save Chat. You'll grab it. If you want to meet somebody on this call, you could take a screenshot and get their name, or you could write it down, or you could contact me, or go to trustref.net and look up their business. Thank you all for showing up. That's what it's all about. Who said it? Was it Woody Allen? 80% of success is showing up. So thank you all for showing up, and have a wonderful Wednesday.
Bye all. Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you, Michael.
Have a good day. Thanks.
Bye.